See? Yes, welcome. This is the Leafcast. We are on Gathering Storm, and this is chapters 47 to the very end. That's right, we finished the Gathering Storm. This is year 4 or 5 of the Leafcast. Thank you for being with us live or in the future, which we believe will be infinite. So at some point there will be a billion views of this. Dan, have you ever think about that?
Yeah, I did.
At
I
some
fell
point.
asleep last night. I'm like, yeah, someday, pretty soon.
Someday. All right. Yeah, this is a big day, and I'm glad everyone's here, and we're going to bring in our first-time readers, but we have an announcement to make for the day. You want to hit this one?
What's that?
Oh, this is going to be the last episode for our first-time reader, Carrie.
Yep.
Life is pulling her away from the show, but she promises to be in chat forever and ever and ever, and we're going to hold her to that. And hopefully we'll get her back on as she is with us in the chapters. But yeah, but we are going to, let's bring him in, everybody.
And they finished the book forever.
Hi.
Hey. Hi, Josh. Hi, Carrie. Case and I will join us soon, as she can. We'll get into it at the end here. But Carrie, I just want to say thanks for sticking around to the end of the book. I know this is hard, so yeah. So we're gonna address this thing after,
And we're going to send you off in style.
We'll talk more towards the end, but yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But this is exciting. We did finish the first Brandon Sanderson co-authored book. Before we get into what do you guys think? Book's done.
I loved it. I actually ranked it in my top 3 of what we read so far. So, maybe it was the strong plot line with Egwene. Maybe it was the Hinderstaff. I don't know. It was like a combination of multiple cool things that I just enjoy. But I'm biased, and I don't know. Maybe I'm biased or unbiased. I don't know what the word is, but this is my first Sanderson book ever, so I don't really have much to compare it to, other than people said that, there's a lot of familiarity with how he writes and stuff, with the Sander Lanch that we kind of got towards the end of this. But I enjoy it. You, Josh?
I did too. Yeah, I definitely appreciated having stuff happen before the last 4 chapters of the book. That felt really good. Yeah, and I've always appreciated his writing style. Definitely took away from our fun and games a little bit.
You're telling me, bub.
Price we pay for the plot moving forward at a reasonable pace.
Nary a bosom to be held.
Nary a bosom.
We don't have 4 chapters like a horse stable anymore. Like it gets clear, concise, to the point.
Was there a single jerk direct in the entire book?
There was not. And I think he fingered things just as an homage.
Yeah, only some light fingering.
I think he cringed every time he fingered something. So yeah.
Or he just doesn't know what that is. Doesn't get that that's even a thing.
It's part of soaking, probably.
Dan, I think they only have sex through a hole in a sheet, don't they?
No, I think that you are allowed to be naked but just not move.
Yeah. It's soaking. Yeah.
Naked but not move.
Right. And so that's why you have those beds you put the quarters in. So if you don't move but the bed moves you, I think you're okay.
You're okay.
I think so. I think that's soaking.
I was gonna make a joke about you soaking like currently in this show, but then you just showed yourself and you're quite dry.
I,
Dry
Quite
as a
dry.
bone.
yeah. Carrie, pants on or off?
On.
There you go.
Oh,
When
the
I'm
mystery
wearing special
solved.
pants. I'm wearing
Mystery
special pants.
solved.
Oh, are we
Special
gonna
pants.
see pants tonight?
Oh,
Special
I don't
pants.
know.
Ooh.
Maybe
Oh,
if somebody
maybe.
if somebody wants to support the show, I don't know.
Yes! Look at this. We should have tapped this a long time ago, Dan.
Oh no! What were we doing?
I know this vein can be gold.
Right.
No. All right, so yeah, so I guess if you donate, Carrie might stand up and do a mean roundhouse kick. Can you kick in those pants?
Oh God, let's talk about that for a minute. I went to class last night and he just, oh my God, worked us so hard. Like you have a 20-minute workout warm up and then you start your technique and then, oh no, did we not just do technique? He had us doing drills back and forth. I am so sore from last night, guys.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like you can't like beat him up. Like
Oh
you
my
can't
God,
get
when
you can't get so mad. You're like, what are you doing? And take him down. No, he's a black belt.
Yeah.
When
Try to-
he pairs you up with somebody in class to do the technique, like it's called practical application, and then he
That's
wants
not
to
hard.
borrow you for a minute to like practice it on you so he can show the others. Oh my God, he shows no mercy. He's so rough. He was like grabbing my throat and like pushing me down. I'm like,
What is happening? What?
oh my
left
God.
leg full. Hey, you're on. Now that we have no pants. Well,
Worked me
we will.
Do I have to give them what they want?
You don't.
Yeah, I
have
mean,
to.
we might not get another one. I don't know how far we can push that.
Okay, you guys. I'm
Remove the
wearing
comment.
pants.
All right.
I'm
Full-
wearing oh God, you can't even see it. Pajama pants instead
Oh,
of
Yes.
Winter time.
Oh, that way
Two
it'll be
things
cozy and
confirmed.
comfy.
She has legs, one, and she has pants. That's
Is that
great.
called gingham, Josh? That plaid style.
I don't know.
That's gingham style.
Yeah, I think that's gingham style.
If I knew the song, I'd sing it.
Don't go gingham style. Boom, boom,
Gingham
boom,
style.
boom, 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 boom. Hey, pretty lady.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the Macarena.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was
Gangnam
like,
Style.
holy shit. They're like, is he asking about gingham? And he's trying to say Gangnam style. That was so great that you
Yeah.
picked up on that, Ryan. Holy crap, what did I miss? Hello.
You missed
Okay.
My
pants.
bagels and
You
logs.
missed Larry Carrie's pants.
You missed
I know.
pants. She confirmed. She stood up and showed
I was
pants.
listening.
Okay.
So let me catch up.
Christmas.
Carrie, I'm so sad that you're going, but I'm also so happy that you're here right now, and you're so cool for showing off your pants. My pants are also available for sale. BT
Oh!
dubs. Okay.
Ryan!
Whatever.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
know.
Veins of a golden deed.
Donations, welcome, and I will show you my pants. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Josh, I love you.
Hilarious.
Why are you
Normally,
so
yeah. This is quite quite a fun new twist, Carissa.
Yeah.
I can catch up just
Thank you,
like-
Sean.
Wait, why didn't we think of this before?
I I was really bummed at first because I was like, no, you can't admit that you have pants on. And then I was like, what? She is selling the pants show, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the pants show.
Bring
Carrie,
it.
nice. Going out with a bang, if I do say so myself.
I want to embarrass someone really quick right now. My friend Tom Mayonnaise is here. A blast from the past. I haven't seen him in forever, and I met him at WalkCon the first year. So thank you, Tom Mayonnaise, for coming tonight.
Toe mayonnaise?
Totally.
What is his name?
Well,
Tom Mayonnaise.
Talmanas from the books. His twist is Tal Mayonnaise, like mayonnaise.
It's an excellent name. I love it. Yeah.
Excellent, Lord
Josh
Matt.
started calling that dude what was it? It was something close to that.
Tall mayonnaise. You called him tall mayonnaise.
Tall mayonnaise.
Yeah.
I
Tall
thought it was you or
We got-
Josh. Yeah. What?
What? I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows anymore? Okay, I don't know where my book is, so my room is in disarray. I have my iPad though.
Josh
So what
looks
did
like
you? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Josh looks like he's in like the coolest like pub where like they pour just really amazing beers.
No, no beers. Just like agave tequilas.
No, this is a beer with cacao and chilies.
Oh, that's just
Green
not
chili.
helping.
This is New
That's a
Mexico.
little better.
No, everything's got chilies
Ooh.
in it.
They put chilies in everything,
Wait,
man.
chocolate chili beer?
Yeah, cacao and
That's
chilies.
All
amazing.
glass of mayonnaise. Uber.
Really good.
That's funny.
Tall
And
glass
apple
of
pie with chilies. Mmm.
What?
apple
Yeah.
pie with chilies.
Apple pie with
You
green
couldn't
chilies.
put it on like one of your China
So good.
dishes, Josh?
I'm gonna
Like,
He's
what
on the
happened
road.
there?
No, he's on the road.
Oh, where
He's
are
in
you?
an undisclosed location. We can't.
He's hanging
tell.
out like in
Oh.
Hemingway's guest room over here.
I know.
Hemingway's
what he's
Yeah.
doing.
guest room.
Top
I
secret.
mean, you can see where I am.
I'm kidding. I don't
Right
know.
here.
Oh, how
Dobie-
funny! Look what Dovey says.
He deserves a vacation from time to time, okay?
Hey,
Give us some love
he's in
from
New Mexico because he wanted to upgrade for a change from Florida.
I
That's
hear
what
you,
it
Jesse.
Chilies all the time because I do it anyways.
I missed it, Josh.
Hey, it's
What?
good. It feels good to laugh, guys. This week's been rough. So
Yeah, I miss you guys. Although I went to an improv class last week, which was super
Hey.
fun.
Yeah.
yeah. So Dan,
Yeah,
not
Tuesday.
we're gonna have to test her out.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I know. I was the one
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
guys.
No,
One
yeah.
class.
You're already better than us.
Class.
That's one more than any of us on screen.
That's yeah. We don't.
Yeah, but you practice all week. You practice 2 times a week on this show. So
I don't go to school. Schools are for squares.
Squeeze.
I'm going to be with other people that also do improv
That's awesome.
and then talk about it. And yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, you and me
I
both.
was gonna
String
say
Flame.
that too. This is my improv class too.
Exactly, Spring. That was I say. That's what I'm saying. You know, this
Yep.
is an improv class in many ways. I gotta plug my desk in so I can lower my.
We asked both Carrie and Josh their opinion. What's your overall opinion of this book? We got to the end, Kay. Talk to me.
Oh, well, much more happened, like action wise and plot wise, you know, than we're used to, I guess, like in that way. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I like the way Brandon Sanderson writes. I find it helpful that he kind of reiterates who the people are.
Easier to
lot.
understand.
It's just the way that it's done is just a little bit more spelled out, which I appreciate because I'm usually listening to it and it's just hard for me to like fucking remember so much about so many different characters. So I did like the change of author in that way, but also there's an element of it where I think he's still trying to like find his footing and I can kind of feel that, you know, so it's a little awkward too, which I'm sure it was for him, like taking over somebody else's, you know, brainchild like this. This is not just a story or a couple stories. This is such a whole, it's a whole world and so much. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a
To your
lot to
point,
take
Kay,
on.
Yeah, to your point, I think it was easier to follow the individual storylines.
I think
You
so.
know,
Yeah.
It was like, I think his pacing was well done so that we got Matt, and then Matt kind of, you know, we didn't hear from Matt in the
Yeah.
last, you know,
I
10
miss Matt.
chapters, I think.
Yeah, that fucking sucked. That really
But no,
sucked.
that's fine. No, I thought it was
Definitely-
fine. It was, you know, it was
Yeah,
okay.
well, I
you
mean,
know?
a lot happened. We had a lot of Rand and a lot of like essential things that needed to happen with Egwene and Rand individually, you know.
Right, right.
So I think that was that was good. That was really helpful, and I'm glad that all of that happened. It felt like it was needed. We needed a lot of time on those two characters specifically, and for their stories to move the fuck forward. So yeah,
Move the
that
fuck
was
forward, yeah.
it felt good to have that happen, I guess is what I'm saying.
Brother
Well,
Dan,
Go
Dan, do you remember how you felt the first time you read it?
The first time I read this book,
Yeah.
I really liked it. I remember really liking it. I was a little jarred by Matt and Tall Mayonnaise, to be honest. Tall Mayonnaise became a cool character, but he was not the same character from the books that I read. And neither was Matt. Matt writing like a 12-page script for people. I get it. He didn't want to be caught off guard again, but that was just comic relief. That wasn't Matt. Matt was unintentionally funny, and this was like more slapsticky, like buffoonery. I don't know, to a certain degree. I didn't like that, and that threw me out. But
I think
for the most part, like, yeah.
I mean, we talked about this quite a bit. I think RJ and Matt had a special relationship that came through in the writing that no one ever would have been able to recapture that feel.
Right.
For better or for worse. I mean, I think there were that lackluster elements to that connection that they had in a way too. So, but I hear what you're saying for sure.
On reread, it's not so bothersome though, you know?
Yeah, that's my experience. Like every reread, I appreciate it more. I remember, we had to wait for that book, right? And then we were like online, like seeing his progress, but then he was like working on other shit. I'd be like, stop working on the other stuff. But yeah, like he was like giving updates, and then it finally dropped. And I remember being very taken aback by the writing.
This was Brandon Sanderson, or this was
just Sanderson's book. As I go through, I mean, but I've always was appreciative. I was like happy to keep reading this world, but I was like, oh, this is not right. I was a curmudgeon.
No bosoms.
No, yeah, no, that's not what I missed, but, but yes, but as we keep going through it, I like it more and more.
Well, go.
Oh, I wanted, now that we've finished the book, Josh, I wanted to let you know that when you said that Hinterstab felt like just a short story that Sanderson wrote and kind of wedged in there, that's exactly what that was. Like like we know this now that he wrote that whole storyline.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Cool. It was just his whole like brains. He kind of like had to like kind of talk her into it, I believe, or something like that. But yeah,
interesting.
That's fun.
Yeah, it had a feel to it for sure. That was different than the rest of the series.
It was a fun chapter. Fandom favorite.
Brandon Sanderson likes to have arcs to his chapters.
Yeah, and
he likes them to resolve, and kind of like have this kind of satisfying or he loves the cliffhangers, but there's always an arc. And that's one of the aspects that is very different from Jordan.
Right. Yeah, Jordan's were kind of like sometimes very flat.
You feel like you're almost flipping. You're almost like flipping through the channels, like more like reading Robert Jordan, just like, whoa, what happened?
Oh God, we got to read this chapter. God damn.
Kyrian, right? If I have to read another game of houses, the last 4 chapters that we have of this book are Rand centric.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead
and like I wrote in the chat, I mean, there was some really amazing writing in this, some really cool bits, for sure.
There's a lot of it is introspection on Rand's part here too. There's like almost 2 chapters of him just thinking of shit, and this is almost one of them here. It's chapter 47. It's called The One He Lost, and it's Rand just pacing around the Stone of Tyr. He had the failed meeting with the Borderlanders, and he's just pissed. He's like, God damn it. God damn it. He's right up bat though. There is a Taishar. Quote, he fingered it, its contours.
Nice.
That's probably the best one of them.
I mean, you could have just stopped at the very. It all works, but yeah, that's a powerful one.
Yeah. But he realizes that part of what's bugging him is the fact that he saw Huron.
Right.
And Huron was like, it brought him back to like, he was thinking of like their old journeys together with him and Matt and all that crazy shit, right? And it was crazy shit, but it's nothing compared to what he's got now. And he was thinking about that. He walks into the heart of the stone, and there Kalendor used to be hanging, and he's like, yeah, but Kalendor sucks. Kalendor is inferior. It says, quote, Kalendor was inferior. To use it, a man had to subject himself to the will of a woman. Besides, it was powerful, but not nearly as powerful as the Choden Call. Here's a Taishar. Quote.
So,
how much
I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll just finish the Taishar. Quote.
Yeah.
A much better tool. Rand stroked it quietly.
Nice. Nice.
All right. All right, go on.
Carrie, do you think that Rand's perspective on Kalendor would be different at the end of this book versus how it is in this chapter? Like would he is doing what he did enough for him to reorient himself around forming a bond with a woman? And maybe we can wait and answer that question later, but I feel like it's pertinent now.
He does compare the Choden Call to the Kalendor, and at the end does destroy Choden Call.
Right.
Seems like intentionally.
It does.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I had to run back in here. Layla, I'm sorry. I have to do mommy duty and I have to get back to it, but I had to jump in. Can we come back to this when I have time to talk about it? Because I have questions for Josh. I actually just like want to know what you even thought about the end. And you too, Carrie, like what did you guys, I was unclear and then rereading it, I don't think that it was clear what happened exactly.
I'm so every book though. Like there's something happens, but it gives you more questions, more unanswered. Like it was a little confusing.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, I have to go. I will be back though. I really am excited about this.
She gave us an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't know what that is or what that means.
I'll be back. Terminator. You know.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
So
she failed that improv test.
It's okay. She said no. What?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he's like, well, the Choden Call is fucking rad. Kalendor, not so much, and yet the prophecies say Kalendor. So what? Why did I have to get this thing? I don't even know what it's at. Catswain has it probably, unless she lost it like a dummy. I don't know. It's not as good, but it's in the prophecies, and so he gets into like the talk of prophecies that we've kind of had. He's
I love that he recognizes the prophecies as sort of the ultimate box, hemming him in, right? And whether his will is something that can break him from it, or if it's something he's doomed to repeat. So remind me, did Luz Theron's voice already go away at this chapter? Or is that something that happens in these chapters?
It happens in these chapters.
In these chapters? Okay. It's been too long, I didn't actually remember. It's been quite a few weeks since I've read these, so I've lost a little bit of the train here. But okay, yeah, because that's really interesting too. Here we go. I told them Luz Theron whispered. Okay, so in this chapter, Luz Theron is still there. Okay.
Yeah, so he's like, the prophecies, it says, quote, the prophecies would see that he did what he was supposed to do. They were more manipulative and more devious than any Aes Sedai. He's all, fuck these prophecies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he did need to be in a circle with 2 women before he could safely wield the sword that wasn't a sword. He's like, well, yeah, no one told me. No one told me. I tried to save a girl here. And this is when he was like, yeah, we tried to save her right here.
Right.
Luce Theron is saying it to him.
Raise the zombie army.
He goes into a room and notices that there's some tapestries on the wall, and they're tapestries of him and his battle with Trollocs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty awesome. Imagine that. I mean, I do all the time, and
And how did those
someday.
tapestries get there? Like, they were a little, like, I don't know, confusing. I mean, somebody can see a vision of the future, but to actually see it kind of like manifested in a tangible.
Well, does
thing,
but do we think it's actually Rand, or is this Luce Theron speaking through Rand, recognizing himself?
Yeah,
That was my question.
that's a good.
Are
that's
these
a good
really tapestries, or are they tapestries of Luce Theron? I read it as they were tapestries of Luce Theron, but I could be convinced otherwise too. But that was how I read it. This is another point where the barrier is breaking down between the 2 of them.
Oh, crazy. Oh wow, okay. Like if he was
That
like
makes
looking at
sense.
himself in a mirror and then had a painting of Luce Theron, would he think they look the same?
I think it would.
What do you think, guys? I'm not going to answer anything. What am I, dumb?
I don't think he sees himself as matching what is on the tapestry. I think it's the breakdown of the barrier between him and Luce Theron and their soon to come unifying moment that leads him to see it the way he does here. So he would not recognize it as Rand. He would recognize it as someone different, but yet him also. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, like, he was looking at the tapestry and he thought it was himself. So
Right.
So
But
that's
himself as Luce Theron, not himself as Rand.
okay, because he doesn't. Okay,
That's
He's
my
building up.
interpretation. I could be convinced otherwise. That's how I read it. But
well, yeah, like compared to the ending and how they like merged, or he talks about it the way he talks about it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So to be clear, the tapestries he sees right there is Luce Theron.
that's how I read it. Again,
Okay.
I could be convinced otherwise if someone wanted to disagree and convince me otherwise, but that was my interpretation of how it made sense. Because I don't think anyone's made tapestries of Rand in wherever the place was he did the cloud thing. Faldora? Falma? Right, Falma. So it wouldn't make sense for them to be tapestries of Rand, other than he identifies himself with the figure in the tapestry and reads it as him. But again, I think that given what happens in the next 2 chapters, that's actually Luce Theron, not him identifying this.
Here's how it reads. It says, a few tapestries fluttered on the walls. With shock, Rand realized that several of them depicted him taking the stone, holding Kalendor, killing Trollocs.
So I guess, they could be new then, possibly. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I do have another Taishar quote. The body suddenly jerked. Moraine had stopped him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why you tagged that last bit in, but do you want to elaborate?
Edging.
Oh, okay.
Since I jerked. He's like, all right, hey, don't guard this place anymore. The Stone of Tyr, we're out. The defender's like, what? He's like, you heard me. There's nothing of worth here anyways. This place is a dump. Pih, spit on it. He goes and tells, gather your spear sisters, we're going to war. They're like, now? It's nighttime. He's like, yeah, man, I don't care. It says, quote, the darkness won't matter. I shall create light enough. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to go to the Shanshin, and I'm gonna beat their butts. I'm going to beat all their butts.
He wants some blood.
Gets back to his room, I guess, to put on new shoes or something. Maybe put on his belt. And guess who's in his room? Tim Althor.
Damn outdoor.
Tim Althor.
All right,
Has it been like a million books since he's seen his dad?
Yes. How? All right. So, what was this moment like when it was like, damn, Tam's right there?
He's changed so much since he saw
Surprise.
Tam, so it was very awkward.
Were you guys surprised to see him?
Yeah, I mean,
Little.
I knew that with him hanging out with Perrin, that eventually he was going to somehow find his way back to Rand, but I didn't know it was going to be here at this moment.
Yeah. One of you said it might be Tam when Cat Swain said there's one person who's vital.
Oh yeah, my theory from last week was, what if she mentioned that somebody importance with Perrin or something, and I was like, who could it be? Would it be Hopper? Would it be Tam? Would it be like, I was just trying to go down the list of people that were still there. Or Berlin. I'm like, Tam.
Berlin,
now
yeah.
it makes sense because Tam was the one that could help him bring him back to reality or get his humanity back.
Yeah.
Right. And Tim also was like the owner of...
You got me off guard with that one, Dan. That was awesome.
I wasn't even ready,
You have 29 seconds. You're all, oh gosh. Bella.
Whoops.
So, yeah, Tam Althor. And they're like, sorry I didn't write. Yeah.
Tam!
He's
Yeah.
like,
Tam
hey,
the
man.
man.
He's like, sit.
Showed up.
No, sit down.
Very
They all
funny.
sat. Yeah, Tam. Were you surprised? Okay.
Yes, I was surprised. I was also very happy. I think my exact words were
Well,
so,
I do love the symbolism of him like meeting his false father and rejecting him in a sense, like something on his life, and then his reunion with his own self father in the form of Luce Theron, like chapters later. I thought was a really cool symbolic gesture.
Agreed.
He calls him Tam. Tam ends up calling him my lord.
My lord.
Hello.
Yeah. So there's this like power play that happens where like Rand becomes the king even in the eyes of his own father. It's like the son becoming the father in a weird way. I don't know. There's definitely some like Christian symbolism stuff going on here too, I feel like.
Yeah, and he's
With
like,
the father and
boy,
the son. And
he's like, boy, imagine. He's like, oh, boy, you sure made it up in the world. The dragon
Right.
reborn, boy.
Oh, shucks.
Whoa, whoa.
He's like got his thumb in his armpits, just like rocking around.
golly, he's got
Shucks.
his teeth in his
The little,
Overalls, yeah.
the little hay in
Overalls.
his mouth.
Yeah.
So they have a talk.
I've been reading the Culture series by Ian M. Banks, and like there's so much intense symbolism in Ian M. Banks. I don't know if any of you have ever read any of those books, but the symbolism here
No, I have
is so
not.
much more opaque than in the Culture trilogy, than in the Culture series, but still just as beautiful in its way. It definitely left me
Opaque.
appreciative of Robert Jordan.
Awesome.
Did you say opaque, Josh?
Opaque, yeah, like
okay,
there's more
like what does that mean in this reference?
like it's more obscured. The symbolism is more obscured in Robert Jordan a lot of times. It's still on the surface to some degree, but he doesn't bash you over the head with it like some authors do. Which again
With
can be
symbolism?
beautiful because
Yeah.
like there's this deep meaning that emerges, but
It could be
it
a lot,
definitely
though,
appreciate. Anyway,
with some authors. But yeah, okay,
Oh, nice.
opaque. Interesting word. Okay, cool.
Well, here they kind of have an awkward conversation. They sit down. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, sit. So, how'd you get here?" He's like, "Well, I was with Perrin. You know, I was fighting with him." He's like, "What? Perrin has two Rivers guys?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he was fighting Shanshin and White Cloaks, and oh, he's the queen." And all. Rand's like, "Wait, back up. What queen?" He's like, "Oh, more Gase, Queen Andor, Protector of the Realm, Light, House of Man. I don't know her whole thing." Yeah, and he's like, "Wait, she's alive?" Huh.
she's alive.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did either of you find it strange that he just like so casually mentions it? Instead of just like saying or asking if he knew.
Yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, like
It was a weird way.
He's wise enough to know that these people don't know, right? A lot of people don't know this person's alive.
He knows everything. I only will accept the answer that Tam always knows most things going on in the room, if not everything. So I just do not accept that he just didn't know, that Rand didn't know, and I think that he was trying to shake him up a little bit with that.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So hang on,
Interesting.
I got really confused in this part. Who knows who Morghese is? When did that come out?
Tam.
Even the people that
Tam knows.
she's traveling with don't know that she's really the queen.
Yeah,
right?
but how does Tam know that? Because yeah, not even like fucking Perrin's wife knows, as far as we know.
Wait, why wouldn't?
How does Tam know that Morghese is who she is when none of
That's
the
a
other
very
people who are around do?
This is a great question.
Tam knows all.
I got super fucking confused by this and like kind of like how the like that makes no. I was like, did I miss something? Like, was it revealed that we didn't like none of us noticed, or is this
Perrin
hidden
knows,
information?
right? Perrin knows. Does he? Does Perrin know?
Perrin doesn't know that Morghese. No, nothing I'm
Nobody
aware of.
knows.
No one
The
knows
Morghese
that
is alive? Yes, they do. They know.
Only her
it's
companions that she ran away with.
Well, her companions. Yes,
No.
that's true.
Yeah.
Right, Carrie, you're right. That's the exception. Companions.
Wait,
It's
is the
fu-
thing
it's-
that you're saying that they may not know the fact that she's alive?
Yes.
No one knows that Morghese is more. What does she go by? More.
She's Maurice.
She goes by badass bitch.
Oh man, we sucked
fine
it.
red hair.
Meriden.
been too long.
Merrigan.
Morgan. Yeah, something like that.
Merrigan, something like that.
Chat, help us out.
She, yeah, I mean, Rand, as far as Rand knows, Rand was just making sure that Elaine was on the throne because he thought that she was dead. He was like, oh, yeah, let me put my girlfriend up on the throne. And he's like, I'm sorry, not put you up. I'll let you do your little thing, but get on the throne, would you?
Take that rump and get off the pedestal already.
Mardigan, that's it. Mad Mardigan.
Okay, so if Rand now knows that Morghese is still alive, doesn't he make the connection that Galad is still trying to kill him because he thinks that he killed his mother? I mean, what is he going to do with this information, if anything?
Okay, so cool. So is the only possible explanation that this is not a linear timeline?
Yeah, oh,
Right,
I
like,
love it. 'Cause yes,
what
exactly.
if Rand meeting Pam happens after some later scene that we haven't yet experienced where Morghese is revealed to be who she is? That's the only explanation, right? Is that even though we haven't experienced linearly in the book, we know that the timelines are jibby jabby, like that there's wibbly wobbliness to these timelines.
Yeah, jibby jabby timelines. I love it. It's exactly how I feel about them.
So I guess that's the only real explanation that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we know that it's not been revealed. Like I think we could go back and comb those books through and through and through, and it hasn't been revealed. So,
Okay.
Did Fael? I didn't.
Tam
Wait,
have a.
Fael didn't figure it out.
I don't think so. I mean,
no,
she
Fael
made
doesn't know.
her
At least
maid,
not.
but
But go on.
Zane knows, though, right? Sorry, Carrie, go.
I lost my train of thought.
Right.
Let's see.
But-
Tam. Oh, maybe Tam has some like cool backstory that we haven't uncovered yet, and maybe that's part of the part that maybe he knew her when he was younger, fighting, as a soldier.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
That's a good point. We don't get very far in this conversation at all. Rand is pretty interrupting. He's like, wait, a queen? He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, she's alive? He's like, yep, she's alive. He said, where's the boy? Wait, he's like, quote, son, they really done it. They gone and made a king out of you. What happened to the gangly boy so wide-eyed at Beltane? Where's that uncertain lad I raised all those years? It's like, he's dead, Rand said immediately.
Mm-hmm.
This part made
Tam?
me really sad. I'm sorry. This is the only part that made me super tear up, like a little, not tear up. It didn't go to my eyeballs, but it was in the back of my throat. I was like, ooh.
Oh, the good old Josh cry.
The gulp.
Tim is in a situation because he never had this conversation with Rand. He never told him. He told him in a fever dream, but he never had this conversation. So he's like, so
never know.
I guess you heard, right? And he's like, oh, that you're not my real dad. He's like, oh, yep, you heard that. Okay. And he's like, sorry, I lied to you, man. I don't know. Here's what he says. He goes, I never meant to lie to you, son. Oh, well, I guess I shouldn't call you that, should I? Is that where you got sad?
His little way, his little way of saying, like, I just imagine him, like, creeping up out of the corner of his eye, like, right? Like, or should I call you that? Should I? Can I? Is it? Are you okay? Is it all right? Are we still we still
We still best.
it was just like.
Carrie, this is during this time. Quote: the quiet voice in his heart was screaming, and later he says the quiet voice was gone. Or what is this quiet voice?
His inner
Is that
boy.
LTG or something else? Like
His ADHD.
It's his inner child, right? It's the Rand who died, who's being like. We see the transition here. I feel like.
What is your little voice? It's anybody's little voice.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Father, he has these thoughts, and then the next time he refers to him, Tam refers to him as my lord instead of son. Right, and he refers to him as Tam Althor. It's like in this, I feel like we never would have gotten this chapter from Robert Jordan, where it's like so spelled out. This paragraph here, quote: "The Dragon Reborn couldn't have a father. A father would be a weakness to be exploited, even more than a woman like men. Lovers were to be expected, but the Dragon Reborn had to be a figure of myth, a creature nearly as large as the pattern itself." Like, it's just so clear and concrete in its abstractness. Like, this part really made me thankful for the clarity that we get in this book. I thought it was interesting too that Tam, similar to Matt, is it Matt? Who's a blade master but wouldn't admit it because no one witnessed it? Or was that Gawain?
Hmm.
Who's the one who Blade Master? Fuck.
Rand.
Do you remember, Carrie?
Yeah. I
What?
mean, the only one I can think of is Ram because he has a Harry Mark sword, but did he earn it? Or no, he just grabbed it from his dad's stuff when he was leaving town.
He did
Right,
beat
but someone
High
else
Lord
killed the
Turok, but
Blade
no
Master
one saw.
recently, but no one saw. It wasn't Rand though. It was in like this book, maybe even, or the previous book.
You know, it was like
It was Gawain, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was Gawain.
Gawain? Okay.
yeah, and he's
No,
like,
Gawain, I thought Gawain. Oh, it was Gawain. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know what to make of that parallel. It's an interesting one, though.
He tells Tam, "I'm afraid I lost your sword." And he's like, I don't think I earned it. I shouldn't have had it. He's like, wait, were you really a Blade Master? He's like, well, I guess technically, yep, I did beat a Blade Master with witnesses. So yeah, and I took a sword. So
yeah, 1, 2, 3. check.
Yeah. He says, it's so strange. My boy, the Dragon Reborn. All those stories I heard when traveling the world. I'm part of them. And also when he says, Rand says, by keeping the truth from me, you likely saved my life. You did well, Tam. I might very well have been assassinated as a child had you not, He says, oh, Tam said, well then, I'm glad I did it. Like, I don't, Tam Althor's bugging me here a little, but
What? Well,
he's a little too yokel. Yeah. He's a little too, oh gosh, look at all this big palace. Oh, gee, look at now all those stories. I'm a part of it. Oh, wow, daddy. It seems weird.
Well, I mean, what's underneath that though? What stories? What stories is Tam?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna push back on you, Dan. What if this is Tam actually way more surgical than you think?
Mm-hmm.
If we take the Tam Traveler stories to heart, this isn't a yokel at all. This is Tam like weaving the thread to tie the knot, like to put Rand in the place that he does the thing he does. That's
so he's
one
doing
way to
this
look at this, right?
Intentionally.
Yes, that Tam's supposed ignorance and like yokelness here is actually him depressing the button that puts Rand in the position to behave as he does, right? Like,
yeah,
it's hard to say.
No, I agree with that like Tam is pushing buttons. He knows Rand because he is his father, so he raised him. He knows him better than anybody, and I think he knows how to affect him, and he knows what needs to happen because he's already met with Cad Swain, and that's part of what's going on, right? Like, we find that out. So it just does seem like it's manipulative with the best intentions.
Yeah, I hear you. Ryan and I have a theory that Tam knew the whole time. Yeah. And this conversation, he knew that he was the Dragon Reborn. He knew. He took him there. He protected him. He kept him isolated on purpose. We thought this was all intentional. Sure. And so it's hard to read this thinking that Tam is just straight out lying to him more and more here. It's this conversation just shatters that theory, I guess.
I don't think he's lying, though. He's setting
I don't think
up
it's
about being a soldier. He's setting up the stage so that he can deliver this speech about Rand as a soldier who goes beyond battlefield and needs to find a reason to show up, right? Other than following orders, which is how he sees the pattern. He sees the pattern like the general, like that's the whole parallel of this chapter, I'd say, is that like Rand mistakenly sees the pattern as giving him orders that he can't deny, as opposed to showing up because he is the Dragon Reborn, changing the story.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. And we do have a lot of Rand just venting. He's like, being the dragon sucks. He's like, oh, you get to be in the stories? It's weird. Oh, how do you think I feel? And Tim's like, yeah, it's pretty funny. And Rand's like, it ain't funny at all.
It's
Yeah,
not funny at all.
I'm
Can
a
you
puppet
imagine?
for the pattern and the prophecies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah,
I have
go ahead.
I have a question about this Tam situation with like as far as but Josh, are you saying that you think that you don't think that he's being like manipulative negatively, right? Like, I mean,
No, he means like he's saying that like Cat Swain pulled him out away from Perrin. Basically, was like, yeah, you got to go talk to your boy. Probably prepped him up a bit, but and then he walks in and he sees instantly that Rand's different. So Josh is saying that he manipulated him in a positive way. He's trying to break him down. He's trying to like do different things, like remind him of his country roots. Kind of like do this, like if your own father's like in awe of like the room you're in and your status, it kind of puts a mirror on it, you know. So that's what he's saying. He's trying to like fuck with him in a good way.
Yes, exactly. And which is what I also think. And I also think, yeah, I completely 100% agree with that. But how does that shatter your theory of him having known that Rand was the dragon reborn his whole life? I guess is my question.
Okay,
Necessarily.
well, defend it. Yeah, defend it for me, Josh.
I mean, if he's known his whole life and putting himself in this position to show up for him in this way could be seen as I mean, you could look at it as the pattern putting him in that position, I suppose, too. It doesn't have to be Tam.
I think you could see it as a lot of different things putting him in that position, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that he didn't know. I think he did know the whole time. I think that theory is really correct, and it's confusing to me and a little disturbing why you guys don't have an answer to it, because we're reading all these friggin' books and I want to know, but I mean, whether or not he knew the whole time doesn't change the whole
No, it
story.
doesn't change the outcome. Yeah, total
He
side.
I
says
get that. These are side things.
He says it's so strange, my boy, the dragon reborn. So maybe he's just now being able to voice it to someone like that.
Voice it. Yeah. He might have had his doubts. I mean, but certainly it seems like he knew he was fulfilling the first part of the prophecy when he found the babe on the mountain, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, he kind of confirms it there. All the stories I've heard, and now I'm in them. So he must have heard the story of the dragon reborn and the prophecies and whatnot.
So my question for Carrie and Carissa is, would Rand have acted as he does in the last chapter if this hadn't happened? If Tam and him had not collided, and if Tam hadn't brought to the surface the manipulation of the Aes Sedai here, I mean, would Rand have gotten to the point of blowing up the storm, of ending the storm? And
can I answer first so I don't forget?
Please do.
What, did you have more though?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Probably because the pattern will always figure out a way to make what needs to happen to make whatever is going to happen, right? But so I think yes, in that way. But it's nice that Tam was the one in the story to kind of break that. It makes a lot of sense, you know? Like, I feel like also Min might have been able to do that at some point, maybe, or like if Moraine came back and was able to run into Rand, maybe she could trigger something like that in him, just because he felt so badly about her death and keeps mentioning it every fucking chapter. But you know, it was nice that it was Tam. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, that's my answer.
That's a great point. Yeah, the pattern would have compensated. If it wasn't Tam, it was someone else that would have drew.
Yeah, I do think so.
Okay, what do you think, Carrie?
So So how did Cadsway know that Tam was significant and she needed to bring him back? I mean, she felt like, or she had some type of knowledge that Tam was the one that was going to make a breakthrough with Rand. And I really like what he ultimately said that got Rand thinking. He said something along the lines of, wait, hold on, let me check my notes. Everybody, if you don't know, I have all these detailed notes on what I read.
They're great.
Help me remember because I'm very forgetful. Unlike Josh, who remembers everything.
Notes are awesome.
Let's see. He says
Like
the
Sounds like a
choice
dig,
isn't-
but I think it's a compliment.
the choice isn't about what you do, but why you do it.
Exactly.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
a simple
Yeah.
line that has such a profound impact on Rand, but also, I mean, I see a lot of religious significance in this statement, and it's just this is what Rand needed to hear, and who else could deliver it but his father?
Mhm.
You know, like I don't
Yeah.
know, like the pattern of compensated, maybe, but at this moment in this turning, it was Tam that delivered that message.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
right. And go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Dan. I'll remember where I'm at.
Oh, I was just gonna move. I was gonna keep talking about Tam.
Okay,
and
well,
Rand
you're going
and
to move
the
on.
rest.
Let me say one last thing before we move on. So
yeah.
I definitely agree with you, Carrie, and Kay as well. I do wonder, though, holding to my own theory that what makes Rand unique and what makes this turning of the wheel unique is that Rand isn't behaving like the pattern would have had previous heroes behave. I do want to push back a little on this idea that the pattern would have compensated. I think that maybe it's possible, and again, I will probably regret saying these things at the end of the books, but if Rand is unique and that what makes him special is his ability to step outside of the way that the wheel has run for millennia, for countless eons, then Tam saying this may be very much a thing that is not a part of the pattern, or that is a part of the pattern that allows Rand to step outside of its normal execution, right?
Yeah.
So while I hear what you're saying, I also wonder if these are the things that allow him to behave differently. Assuming that's even a thing that...
Sorry.
I want to put a pin in that because I do want to address it near the end of the last chapter, actually.
Okay.
In regards to that, so Rand and Tam are still talking. He's like, and Rand's like, yeah, I wish I could just leave. I wish I could. He's like, it's not like a soldier. You can leave if you're a soldier. You can go to you can just leave. I can't leave. The prophecies make it so I can't leave. He's like, well, it's not what you do, it's why you do it. All right, this is where you're at. You always have a choice. The choice is in how you do this, right?
Right.
It says, yeah, you always have a choice. The choice isn't about always what you do, but why you do it. And he's like, so I won't stand any whining on the subject. And Rand's like, well, I wasn't whining. He's like, I know, kings don't whine, they deliberate.
He turns into such a little boy, like, immediately.
Yeah. He's like, why do you go to battle, Rand? He's like, because I must. He's like, well, that's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if I no, and he's like, God damn it, I wish I'd come sooner. If that stupid woman, he's like, what woman? He's like, oh, Cadswain Sedai. She brought me here. Yeah, she said you might be mad if I said her name. And he was just like, mother.
Cadswain! Cadswain!
Whoa.
I'm seeing red.
I'm always being manipulated, aren't I? I can't get away. Damn, God damn it. You're manipulating me by just being through her. He's like, what'd she say? He's
Back
like,
in the box.
he's like,
Nobody puts
well,
me in a box.
he's like, she told me that I should talk about your youth, remind you of better times. She thought, and he's like, she manipulates me. That's it. Everyone fucking manipulates me. Everyone ties strings on me.
Yeah.
Tam's like,
What am I, your puppet?
he's like, Tam's like, Rand, you should know better than that. And he's like, be silent. He threw Tam on the ground with weaves of air. He's like, how dare, how dare, how dare. He's looking at his statue. Statue starts to glow. He's like, God damn these people. He starts weaving balefire. He looks down at Tam. And Tam is just looking up like super scared. Right, that looked pretty scared, huh?
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
That worked. I was scared for you.
Your eyes always look a little scared, Dan.
It said, screaming at them all, he wove threads of air and fire. Lews Therin howled in his head. Saidin tried to destroy both of them, and the quiet voice inside Rand's heart vanished. Here's a Taishar quote. A prick. A prick.
Nice. A prick.
The Wees of Balefire were there. And he's like, he sees Tam terrified. And he's like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? He says, what am I doing? Rand thought again. No more than I've done before, Lews Therin whispered. Oh, light, I am doing it again. I am a monster. He said, still holding tenuously to Saidin, Rand wove a gateway to Ebudar, then ducked through, fleeing from the horror in Tam's eyes. And that's how it ends. He was not only close to killing Rand, but eliminating him from the pattern forever, guys.
Dude, this was intense.
So would there have been a fucking break? Like, if Rand had blown Tam out far enough back in the pattern that he couldn't save him from the slopes of Dragonmount, would all of reality have changed?
Yes. Well, I mean,
like,
I don't know. I mean, like, I answer with confidence. Of course.
Yeah, of course it would.
Of all real. Well, let me get my charts out and explain to you why.
Like, that's.
I mean, we just wouldn't have any of these stories,
right?
If that happened, like he would have completely fucked himself over in doing that as well.
If that happened, the book would have been over.
Yeah, it's like you go to kill baby Hitler and you kill yourself.
The end.
Right.
Well, and I don't know if the prophecy says he grew up in the Two Rivers. The prophecy says he's born on the slopes of Dragonmount. But like wherever he grew up, it's like Jesus' teenage years. We don't need to know that story. Suddenly he's the dragon, near the end there.
Right.
I don't know. It's a bad analogy, but
no, I mean,
I mean, it's like. No.
I mean, there is some weird, like, crucifixion-y stuff. Like, like Christ thought he was betrayed by God the Father prior. Like, why hast thou forsaken me? Right? Like,
correct.
Isn't this a weird, like, reversal of why hast thou forsaken me? Where, like, the son is.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a little weird, but like. There is some interesting stuff going on here with like the father-son dynamic and like betrayal, but like putting him in this position that he's now the savior, right? Go ahead, Chris.
Yes.
Well, and Rand.
No,
I
agree with you.
This
but also,
is like
they reference. Sorry.
No, go.
Really quickly.
Go ahead.
Also, they reference him being. Like the son of the unit, like the son.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was just there were a lot of biblical references that I don't even know that much about. I'm not very knowledgeable in the biblical essence of anything in any like real religious sense of any type or any thing at all. So but it still felt very referenced to me.
Well, within within
I love that.
biblical
What a hell.
sense.
That's fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
Egyptian god. Oh my gosh.
Tam would have served the Joseph role, you would think, or maybe I guess the Joseph role in that he helped raise the boy who wasn't his own.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's
that
a good
makes
point.
sense.
Is there anything else in this chapter that you guys wanted to mention?
So was Rand immaculately conceived?
Right? Seriously,
Jordan?
That is the question.
In Jordan, Robert Jordan, yes.
Jordan, yeah. Doesn't it have Odin in there? Isn't that a god? Jordan? Jorodin?
When Jordan was
Rodin.
my land.
Joe Rogan.
That's so
Rodin.
funny, dude.
Whoa.
Whoa.
no.
Chapter 48 is called Reading the Commentary. It's a Min point of view. I put a little heart over her eye because I think Min deserves it. She's been having a rough time. She's not getting on with her boyfriend so well. So she's hanging out in the old ladies' room in Cadwyn's room. There's a couple other ice. Yeah.
Poor
she's
Min.
probably
All she gets to do these days is sit around watching these old ladies crochet and knit their fucking socks back
they're just
together.
knitting stuff.
And read books. She likes to read books.
Oh, sorry. And she gets to watch them read. You're right. I'm sorry. That's more interesting.
She's been reading a book. Let's see. It was a book called Commentary on the Dragon.
No, Min's reading, Carissa. Not.
Oh, she gets to read. Ooh, yay.
I'm gonna say this is a Tai Shar, guys. Quote: "In it teased at her a sin."
Nice. I agree with that. I don't know what the last part was. What was that?
I was trying to say a sin, but it's it's the first part of a sentence.
Oh.
All right.
Oh,
So-
you deserve that.
It deserved it.
One line triggered her. It says, quote, "He shall hold a blade of light in his hands, and the three shall be one." And she's like, yeah, I guess all the scholars think that's like the great cities, Kyrian, Ilion, and Ter, or Andor, or whatever. He's like, but it just doesn't make sense. And so she's like, Cadwyn, I think this book is, I think it's wrong. And one of the, like, Aes Sedai is like, dummy. Sorry, I had a dumb shit.
Chewy.
All right, so this I know there's more to say about this, Dan, but the destruction of the Chosen Call and this little bit about Kalendor really seems to be pointing to the last battle to me, to like that this flaw will somehow play like a really important role in whatever allows Rand to survive this battle. Like I think there's no accident we're learning about this in the way that like weakness of counter to their benefit, to Rand's benefit as part of the last battle. I don't know how that looks. I don't know who the two women are who channel it, or like, I mean, I guess like Moradin's connection to Rand could somehow be involved in this too. Like, right, Rand is not just Lews Therin who he absorbs, he's also Moradin. And things, I don't know exactly how it plays out, but it's easy to imagine a world where like this flaw becomes the thing that saves him, I guess.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
interpretation as I'm seeing it right now.
I like it.
Will we ever hear from the little voice in his heart again?
No, he absorbed him like he just.
Is that one of the three?
Whoa.
Lews Theron, little voice in the heart.
Wait a second. But
Or is
there's
it
a
Lews
little
Theron,
voice.
Rand, and Morgan? Like,
Okay.
I thought the three.
I think it's
had
more
to be
likely it's the two women, two female channelers in Rand. Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go on, Karen.
I was just gonna say I thought it had to be two like Aes Sedai with Rand.
That's yeah. You got to form a circle, and I guess he has to surrender control to one of the women. It sounds like.
Which
And who would be the other two women if he had to do that someday? Like, oh my gosh.
Nynaeve and Egwene.
Mm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
right?
Wait, he has to. Why them?
Well, I think because Egwene's going to be at the last battle kicking ass. We know that just from how the story has been told. Again, I think she's the real hero who saves Rand, ultimately, most likely. So
Do you think
Egwene has
she's
to
like
be there.
closest?
Nynaeve has shown over and over again that Rand trusts her, right?
Well, yeah, and Nynaeve helped him cleanse the taint, so I guess those are the
Seems
front
like you would be
runners.
willing, yeah, to go there with her. But it sure seems, I don't know, like, in the fact that the Choden Call gets destroyed and the Kalendor is the thing that gets left behind at the end of this book does also seem to indicate to me that, like, it's going to be the crux of whatever happens, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, totally, because, yeah, anyways, but the inner voice, first of all, the inner voice, though, I think there's, like, a couple of different inner voices that are happening, for Rand, and I don't think that every time that they're, referencing this inner voice that it's always Lews Theron. I think that it's just sometimes, like, just himself, like, talking to himself, like, as one does sometimes, an inner little voice, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something else or someone else, but I just don't always think that it's Lews Theron, though. Did everybody think it was just always Lews?
Well, book readers, does it
think?
have like a different font, or is it italicized when it's loose?
Yes.
Okay, so
but then it gets a little weird because it's like he said, "I killed. I remember killing her." Rand said, or Lews Theron said, "This is where the child was." Said, "This is where we tried to save the kid." Said Lews, and that's in italicized.
And he also tells Rand too that the Choden Call was a mistake. That the tool that they built to cleanse to capture the Great Lord backfired on them, which is why Rand blows it up. Right? Lews Theron's like, "Oh, I want to do it right this time. I want to do it right this time." Is the last thing Lews Theron ever says inside of Rand's head before Rand turns on the Choden Call and destroys it. Right?
Right. So what does doing it right this time actually mean?
Not using the Choden Call to try to capture the Great Lord.
Uh-huh.
Does it also mean like breaking the wheel though? Like, because it felt at some point like it also meant that he needed to like break the world, but that he didn't want to because he wanted to keep it. But he understood that like you keep the reason you fight the war is because of love, and so that's the reason you keep reliving the life. Does any of this make sense? What is my question? I'm not sure. What was
Is your question whether or not they have to break the wheel in order for him to win?
Thank you. Yeah.
Or what does Rand think right now?
What does Rand think? Does Rand think that he needs to break the? Yeah, exactly. Does Rand think that he needs to break the wheel? Thank you, Rand. Yeah.
Such a hard. I feel like I really want to know the answer, but I feel like we can't. That's an unknowable at this point.
But it did feel like it was insinuated, right? Like he was like it was implied that he might need to break the fucking wheel, to like not let this continue to happen, because otherwise they're just going to end up in the same fucked up shit again. That's how I read it the first time through, and I know that I have a weird way of perceiving things, and it's not always accurate, and I don't know, but the second time I listened to it, it was not super different, and I still got the same message, and was still confused as to what Rand was actually like wanting to do.
I'd like to believe that you're right. Carrie?
I mean, me too, and I'm really hopeful in that way too, so I think I maybe hear what I want to hear sometimes.
I don't know what to say on this. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay.
Do you think Rand? You don't think Rand might want to break the wheel at all at this point? Like, might
Oh,
feel
I
like
mean,
that
I mean,
based
up
off
until
of
the point
the conversation that they had.
by
That might
him,
be
I mean, by
something.
him going to Abu Dar and about to destroy the Sanchan, and like he was like getting to that breaking point of destroying the whole world. I mean, that's how it felt like. But you know, at the last minute, he stopped. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
I think he wanted to like take the easy way out. He just wanted to end all this. Like, why do I keep living 1,000 lives and the same thing keeps happening over and over again? And then that's when, you know, that voice. I mean, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but you know, like.
No, I know. I
Yeah,
did
I
too.
agree.
Sorry, guys. But yeah, no, that's what yeah. Thank you, Carrie. That's really helpful, because that's how I read it as well, was that he was really just like, oh, okay, well then I need to do things differently this time, implying that would be that he breaks the world or the wheel or whichever. I'm not sure how separate they are. But
I love it. I mean,
it's
at the
like,
end of chapter 49, Rand goes to the point of Dragonmount, and Lews Theron's like, this is where we died. And then in that place,
oh,
he sits down like the thinking man, only like with both of his hands on his face. Like, it's the thinking man in an existential conundrum, right?
You know what? Does the thinking man, is he resting his head on a stump?
I love that, Dan.
Maybe it is a stump.
oh
There is a
no.
misprint.
Oh
It does say,
no.
the misprint is, then he rested his elbows on his knees and his
Forgot
head
about
on his
that.
hands, plural. It should be hand and stump.
I totally forgot he had only one hand.
Wait, it says hands in the book?
It says hands, plural.
Oh, that's so
Harriet!
funny. Oh, we found something.
So Catswain's reading her own book. It's called The Proper Taming of Power. This
Not
is
a
like a self-help book? It's like shaming rulers for dummies.
No, it's like a self-help book for really good night workers.
Yeah, okay.
You get me. Thank you.
Catswain's like, oh yeah, that interpretation. That's a very unconventional interpretation. Of course it's correct. I had thought the same thing. That's why I studied Kalendor. Hey, you stupid, rude Aes Sedai, don't you owe someone an apology for actually being right? And she's like, I ain't apologizing for shit. She's left. They let's see. They talk about Kalendor just a little bit. Nynaeve is pacing, pulling her braid. She feels that Rand was in pain. She's like, what's going on with that conversation? And then Tam Althor comes in the door, just pissed. He came in fast. It was as if he almost rode in. There it is. There's the candle. You're never gonna light that, are you? Never.
No, because then it's going to be destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So he's like, he comes in, he's like, what happened to my son here? She's like, oh, bad meeting, I take it? He's like, yeah, he tried to kill me. She's like, huh. Well, she says, interesting. And did you speak the words I prepared for you? He's like, well, I began to, but then I realized it wasn't working. He says, he wouldn't open up to me, and well, he shouldn't. A man using an Aes Sedai script with his own son. I don't know what you did to him, woman, but I recognize hatred when I see it. You have a lot to explain. And suddenly she picks him up by air. She's like, I don't explain shit. And Nynaeve's like, hey, Catswain. And Tam's like, it's all right, wisdom. I know a bully when I see one. And so she's like, oh. Put him back down. She doesn't like being called
Honestly, did anybody else want to just bust in the room and beat Cad Swain's ass right now? Because I wanted to just backhand her. Be like, let go of him, bitch. He's like Papa Bearing out. He's so cute. So nice. Not cute. Very manly and strong. Sorry. And, just very nice. Anyways, it was really, Cad Swain's a little bitch right here. I thought. We're treating him well. No? Nobody else?
No, we agree. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel I'm a rebel. I like Cad Swain, but I don't know why. It's just weird.
She's team
No,
Cad.
I like her, but not in this. Her against Tom, though. I mean, in this situation, I'm not a fan at this moment, though. Like, put him down, and I get a little protective.
Yeah.
He says, He says, have you seen him? The entire room seemed to grow darker when he entered. And that face, I've seen more emotion in the eyes of a corpse.
Gross.
Yikes. He's like, Min's like, well, this is what we get for trying to think that we could just bully him around, push him to do what we want. And then suddenly she goes, oh, he's gone. He just went someone far to the west. Tam says he seemed to be distracted by something suddenly. He took that little statue and dashed through a gateway. They're like, where'd he go? It's like, Min says, Ebu Dar. He's gone to destroy the Shanshin, just as he told the maidens he would. And Tam's like, well, I don't know about that last part, but it did kind of look like Ebu Dar. And that's how it ends. Anything about this little chapter here? We do see, there was a script, and I don't know where he was when he was all shucksing. When he was like, oh, gee, look at this big old palace. This is just amazing. You guys ever see Huelhauser? He did California's Gold. Oh, my gosh, it was this PBS show. Guy was enthusiastic about everything. They found clams in Pismo Beach. He's like, are you kidding me? You just get a clam right from the sand? How about that? You getting this, Miguel, on the camera? Seriously, Huelhauser, guys, two things. Huelhauser is an American treasure. B, I am doing a dead-on Huelhauser impersonation right now. You guys don't know how good it is.
Nice. We don't. You're right.
All right, Mistress W, it was a pretty goddamn. Well, how you doing? You eating breakfast out here in the gorgeous California sun? Yeah, we're eating breakfast. Ha! What'd you get, eggs? I always get eggs. It's Huelhauser in a nutshell right there, guys.
Well, that's cute. That's adorable. Bravo, Dan. We'll have to take your word for it.
It's so good.
Actually, chat is vouching for you. They're like, Huelhauser, totally spot on. It is. They're totally like on board. That's fun. They got you. Even if we don't know.
How about
we're
that?
Too uncultured.
That's real California gold. It kind of sounds like one of the announcers of the pod racing and Anakin's right up the middle. Anyways, let's jump to chapter 49. This is Ponderanding. Rand, it's called Just Another Man, and it is a leaf icon.
Yeah.
A leaf icon.
A leaf.
And he's walking the streets of Ebudar.
Background.
He had gone, changed
Trefoil.
his clothes.
Trefoil leaf.
He said it was as much a part of them as it was the way of the leaf. Also,
What's up?
in the visions of Meridian, he had followed the way of the leaf. So you guys make sure checking that you two are following the way of the leaf, like Rand did in Meridian. Last night he had traded his cool black coat for a tinker coat, just like a woolen coat. He got a staff. He's kind of walking a little hunched over because he's taller than everyone. He's looking all just haggard, right? He doesn't want to. He just wants to blend in. Here's a Taishar quote. He'd wanted to make himself hard. He needed to be hard.
It's so good when they pop through, you know?
Just putting a lot of pressure on himself.
He needed to. He wanted to. He must.
I got another one. Quote. A busy bulging?
Oh,
Busy?
bulging.
A busy bulge?
What
Maybe
does
bold.
that
I got a busy
look
bulge.
like? I wonder. Busy bulge.
You can change words, Dan. You could. It's very questionable whether you could do what you're doing, but changing words is not acceptable.
What is BULG? Bulge.
Bulga?
Can't remove
Okay. All right.
Olga.
A busy bulga. And he's walking around Ebudar, and he's like, the Shanshan kind of got their shit together here. Shanshan got, you know what? The buses run on time. There's no trash on the street. He says, quote, the Shanshan had a much better hold on Ebudar than Rand had on Bandar Ebon, and the people here were happy, even prosperous. Go on.
So remind me, when Rand used Kalendor during the battle in, what was it, Ilion or Paldara? To call down the lightning, right? And it like struck his own people. Is that what happened?
Oh, yeah. Is that what happened?
Let's see, in Tyr it worked, but in Ilion it didn't.
Uh-huh.
Is that what it was? Like, in Tyr it worked, but in Ilion it didn't.
I think so.
Oh.
I think so. Maybe it was in Ilion.
It would be nice to have like a little synopsis of every battle too that's happened up to this point, or like every like main event in like 2 sentences, like a glossary, I guess.
That went.
I'm always bitching about reading the glossary. Okay.
Oh, I love the glossary. I got some nuggets for you guys later.
So this is Rand going full terrorist here.
Yes,
He's
for
like
sure, yeah.
blending in with the people. He's got a weapon of mass destruction, the little access key. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Some innocent people will die, but you
only live once. YOLO.
inshallah.
That's the price you pay.
Many would die, but most would
Collateral
be destruction
damage.
invaders.
It's fine.
You stare down at the access key, and then he sees Sidene, and it racks him. He falls to the ground and just pukes.
Yeah.
Just.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. People come around. They're like, "Hey, buddy, you okay?" Shanshan Patrol's coming. And Rand's like, "Oh, I gotta get away." He opens a gateway and just steps out, and he's on a disc. He's on one of those black and white discs. He's just skimming.
He's wait. Like those videos when they run.
Hoverboarding.
Yeah, he's on a hover. Okay.
He's hoverboarding.
I picture it like akin to like at a mall going up the thing, and you hear like doo 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 doo.
Elevator music.
Yeah, going up the escalator.
Young and handsome.
Well, and so yeah, Girl from Ipanema is playing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and girl, yeah.
Yeah,
Walking.
Josh got it too. Dun, and dun, and dun. Nice.
He says, why can't I be strong enough? Why can't I do what I must? He says that he sees himself as a necessary destruction. He said, why had the pattern pushed him so hard if he didn't need to destroy? He was destruction. He just had to accept that. Someone had to be hard enough to do what was necessary, didn't they? And then he steps out onto the platform. And he's on a field of snow and ice, wind right around him. He's on top of Dragon Mountain. He's like, huh. He's like, Rand says, why have we come here, Rand thought. Because, Rand replied, because we made this. This is where we died.
Oh, yeah, the beginning of the end is what it feels like.
Rand sat down and wove some air and fire to keep himself warm, and then he rested his elbows on his knees and his head on his stumpy hand, staring at the diminutive statue of the man with the globe.
It is weirdly the thinking man, but like the thinking man is different. Yeah.
I'm trying to like hide my hand.
Oh my god!
He's sitting crisscross applesauce.
Did I do it? Did I do it?
Yeah.
I think it did well.
He's got crisscross applesauce, and he's like,
Great.
he's like a someone in kindergarten. You know how when they sit there?
Yeah, crisscross applesauce.
That's what I was doing.
I'm just waiting to die now. Thank you. Come and get me.
Yeah, he stood on the very point of Dragon Mount, the lone peak that had erupted when Lews Therin had killed himself. That's how it ends. Talk to me, Carrie.
Well,
Talk to me, girl.
I'm excited to talk about the next chapter.
Okay.
49, I mean, well, I have an announcement to make, but hold on. Let me check my notes. I mean, basically, he was about to destroy the world, and then he flew to Dragon Mount, and he was like, "Okay, now, what am I doing? Why am I acting like this way?" But I wanted to say before you jump into chapter 50, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I had a friend help me, but I have 4 tie shars for you in chapter 50.
What? This is very exciting. It is very exciting.
I'm gonna mute.
So I don't know when you want me to start rattling them off, but
No, just start. We're ready.
Are we on chapter 50 then?
Yep.
Yeah. We're in chapter 50.
Okay. So veins of gold. Okay. The first one is those holes would bleed him dry.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is Rand's anger beat in rhythm with his heart, demanding to be set free.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this one is okay. The power within him reached a crescendo, and he turned it upon itself, drove it through the access key.
Oh, nice. Oh, God.
A good one.
So good.
And then the last one, sure, this is a stretch. Rand looked up at it, then he smiled. Finally, he let out a deep throating laugh. True.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
He looked up at it. You could have stopped there.
Yeah, he did. Woo! Carrie, that was the
Yes.
That was a good one.
Bravo.
Yes.
Done
Well
this without
done.
because I don't catch these when I read them, so
I love it. I love it. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
It's so great.
Thank you, Carrie. That was such a gift.
Side comment. Ryan sent me a text and he's like, I want you to just find one Taishar for the show and surprise the group. And I'm like, okay, I'll try. Then I messaged my friend. I said, I've read the book. I can't find any. Like, what do I do? She's like, oh, you should talk to this person. And then within like 5 minutes, he had like 4 of them. I'm like, of course he did. So
Nice.
Well done.
I love it.
Oh,
You got friends in low places, Carrie.
Woo, woo.
okay.
Let's go to chapter 50. This is called Veins of Gold.
I'm never gonna stop smiling.
That's a Taishar.
I know.
Yeah, I agree.
Really is.
Wind blew around Rand as he sat at the top of the world. He had trouble breathing, so he had to bend the air a little bit so that he could get a little air pressure going. It's way thin up there. And he's just thinking. He's like, he says, what was he? What was the dragon reborn? A symbol, a sacrifice, a sword meant to destroy, a sheltering hand meant to protect, a puppet playing a part over and over again? And he's angry.
Yep.
He's confused. This is seeing Huron, seeing Tam, having all these parts like where people are trying to manipulate him by bringing his past to him. In one part, the Borderlanders, and the other part, it's Cad Swain and whatnot. He's baffled, and he's like, and what Rand had told, or what Tam had told him, about choice. He's like, well, but I'm the Dragon Reborn. That's what I am. It says the quiet voice was gone now. It had vanished when he had thrown Tam on the floor and nearly killed him. He said, but without that voice,
right? The voice was his humanness. Yeah, the voice was his humanness in a sense.
Well, that's what he wonders. He says, without that voice, did Rand dare continue? If it was that last remnant of the old Rand, the Rand who had believed that he knew what was right and what was wrong, then what did that silence mean? He keeps looking at that damn access key.
Dan, we're slipping. Rand despairs puppets. We didn't even call him out on it.
I know. You guys. I was in the other room. I was like, what about?
I know.
It happens a few times. This puppet besmirchment should not stand, and I'm glad that the people are not accepting this sort of just blanket bigotry.
Just it happens so much, Dan. You become just immune.
Yeah, puppet. Yeah, I mean, puppets are important. Yeah.
A slip of the hand. That's funny.
So he starts talking to himself. He's like, well, what if I don't want the pattern to continue? He goes on to say, what if I think it's all meaningless? What if I don't want it to keep turning? We live our lives by the blood of others. Yeah.
I felt like they're so justified in this first time readers. Like, this is all shit that we've talked about so many times over the last few years. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So nice
totally.
To put it to words instead of it being this like amorphous thing. And again, I don't know that we would have gotten this if RJ was writing. Like, I feel like this is very much Brandon Sanderson, like eking out these details for his own benefit as an author.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, he had the ability to like say these things for the masses that were reading, and
we all felt these same things.
Confirmation. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like we felt all these things reading Robert Jordan, and implications. Probably Brandon did too, and has to put them to words to move the story along, so that this crux of a moment can happen that Rand can emerge from. Right. Like.
Well, and it's interesting that when he's mentioning the futility of it all, he gets a little meta and references the beginning paragraph of the book.
the paragraph of
He
the book.
says,
Yeah, exactly. Which
great deeds or great tragedies neither mean anything. They'll become legends, and those legends will become forgotten. Then it will all start over again.
Uh-huh.
Where
Which
we,
that's pretty
each becomes-
cool. I think that I'm sorry. That was a pretty cool thing for him to do. What first chapter was that from? This book?
when the
every
wind
first
blows.
chapter.
First-
Yeah.
That's how all the books start.
The very, very first?
The wheel of
All
time
the books
turns
start
and
that.
ages come and pass. Yeah, it's Here I have it
The Wheel
right
of Time
here.
ages from the past, leaving memories that become legend. Legends fade to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave birth to it comes again.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how every book
Yeah.
starts. And so he's like, yeah, that's right. And it's all bullshit. It's all meaningless. What's the point?
Yeah.
He goes on to say, what if it's
him
better
just
to
addressing
just
that.
have it end? He's
So
like, he screams, none of this matters. He closes his eyes and just starts drawing in powder. He says he was drawing him more and more power, feeling as he had only twice before. Once when he had cleansed Sidene, once when he had created this mountain. The blending of Rand and Luz is that right there. And then he drew in more. He knew that much power would destroy him, and he didn't give two shits. And he starts remembering the day. He remembers the day that he killed Ilyena. He remembers getting cognizance in order to see what was going on, that clarity. He said Lews Theron had made a mistake. He had died, but he had left the world alive, wounded, limping forward.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to do this again? He whispered. I've already failed. She is dead by my hand. Why must you make me live it again? The world could give him no answers, it says. Why? And then Lews Theron pops in. Lews Theron says, why do we live again? Lews Theron asked suddenly. His voice was crisp and distinct. Yes, Rand said, pleading. Tell me, why? Maybe, Lews Theron said, shockingly lucid, not a hint of madness to him. He spoke softly, reverently. Why? Could it be maybe that it's so we can have a second chance? He starts thinking. Tam said, why, Rand? Why do you go to battle? What's the point? Why? And Rand thought with wonder, because each time we live, we get to love again. And that's the answer. It all swept over him. Lives lived, mistakes made. Loves changes everything. End quote. He says, if I live again, then she might as well. And that's why he fought. That's why he lived again. I fight because last time I failed. I fight because I want to fix what I did wrong. I want it to be right this time. I'm sorry. I want to do it right this time. Rand suddenly just has so much power in him.
Sure.
He uses his own power against it, crushing the distant globe. He throws it into the access key, shattering it as if in the grip of a giant's hand, and the Shodan call exploded.
As if in the grip of a giant's hand, as the Taishar, I think.
Yep. Okay. I like that. Perfect.
So,
Nice.
I mean, this.
Y'all's welcome.
I'll just finish real fast. There's two. It says, so the tempest end, the power winks out. And Rand opens his eyes for the first time in a very long time. He knew somehow that he would never again hear Lews Theron's voice in his head, for they were not two men and never had been. The clouds above him have finally broke, if only just above him. And finally he lets out a deep throat. Laugh. It had been too long. All right, go for it. All right, let's talk now. Go for it.
Cad Swain had predicted that he would laugh again, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, not predicted. She's like,
I won't. He must laugh again, basically, right?
yeah, no, she threatened him to laugh again.
She slapped him, boy.
Which is funny.
Let's laugh again.
Is this the afterlife? Is this second chance the afterlife for the Savior?
Oh.
I was kind of through that in the context of the
Oh, that's
the
crazy. Gosh,
the
you made me
mythology
just
of
think of something.
messianic mythology. Like, I was so happy to read this chapter. Like, it made me so happy, and it really it opens up a lot of questions, but it also like really fits. It answers so many things that we had been pondering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And a
totally.
lot of times chapters like this in a book, you walk away from feeling kind of like they didn't do enough. I felt like this actually did enough.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
So is Rand changed?
Well, I have a question.
Please.
Oops. Do you think that the death of like the prophecy, what was it that he has to die to live? What is the one, guys?
Mm-hmm.
What is the one? You know what I'm talking about?
die
He has
to
to
live
die to
again.
live again. Do you think that that is referencing Luz Theron like dying out from him for him to live this other self that is maybe more enlightened in a way and has knowledge and is not hindered by this Luz Theron? Like, did that is that what had to die to live again?
I like where you're going with it, but I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think there's yet another death to come, probably during the last battle. But I like that as an idea, for sure.
That's a really awesome interpretation, actually. I love that.
I do too.
Thank you.
Love
I thought
it.
that a while back. I was like, "Oh, does Luz Theron have to like die?" But like, I never mentioned it because I was like, "Obviously not. That's not what they're talking about." And I still don't really think so. But it just like gets me thinking again. Like, oh man, this really is such a transformation of self after this happens, and it does feel like a very different type of Rand going forward, or that will be going forward.
You know, and if we're going to like dig into messianic and actual Jesus, so Jesus, the night before he was arrested, he was distraught. He was praying. He asked his followers, "Set up and pray with me. We gotta pray to figure this thing out. I'm gonna be arrested tomorrow." He was thinking, but he didn't tell anyone. But he knew it was coming, right? And they all fell asleep. He was bummed. He was like, "You guys can't even stay awake, dummies." But when it came, he was placid and accepting, and was not nearly. He had, to a certain degree, had accepted his fate, and I don't know if he let out a full-throated laugh, but it might be a similar trial, I guess, but Rand is just sitting there. But I mean, he goes through the doubt of everything. Like, everything is doubt here. He's like, nothing matters. He becomes very nihilistic, very just, this is all blah.
Yeah, he starts listening to Joy Division.
Yes, and Sepultura.
Metallica.
Oh, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Nice.
Funny.
And then he laughs, and it said it had been for too long. That's how it ends. There is an epilogue we'll talk about, but Veins of Gold is considered. A lot of the fandom know this chapter pretty well. You mentioned that term, Veins of Gold. Go ahead.
I love the. Let me read the poem at the end of the prologue while we're on the end of this chapter, because I think they're connected. At the end of time,
they are.
At the end of time, when the many become one, the last storm shall gather its angry winds to destroy a land already dying. And at its center, the blind man shall stand upon his own grave. There he shall see again and weep for what has been wrought.
So, Josh, this is prophecy.
Yep.
So, could Rand have done anything different?
Maybe.
It's
Yep.
prophesied. I mean, it's prophesized. It's right
Yeah,
there.
it's right. It
It's
just
written in the
It
stars.
said he would do it, and he
Josh.
did
You can't
Yeah,
change
did
the stars.
it. So,
first you say it, then you do it.
but I think it's a wonderfully written prophecy, actually. What? So was he a blind? Was he the blind man shall stand upon his own grave? It says that Rand opened his eyes for the first time in a very long while.
Yeah. He's blind. He was blind to meaning and purpose, right?
Yeah. He was blind, but now can see.
But now he sees.
Yeah.
But again, this is prophecy. So was this just another box?
This
Poor
sounds-
Rand.
Hey, that's a great question. Why is this chapter called Veins of Gold?
Make me use my brain.
I think it was
That's
pretty
what
clear.
Christian rapper.
Christian rapper. Come on. I'm kidding. I don't know why. I don't know. Improv, bitches.
That's a very good question.
Veins of gold
Josh,
or
you wanna
mighty
take this
old?
one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I assumed it was about him making himself hard like Quendular, but
Yeah.
or that the holes in his heart cause the blood to leak free, the tiny holes that he staunches. But actually, I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Is there a correlation or relationship between the wound in Dragonmount and the wound in Rand?
Well, wait, isn't that tattoo made of gold or something?
His
Oh,
dragons
good.
are
Yeah.
It does glisten with gold, yeah.
Yes.
So maybe that is the reference that it's like, oh, now his whole essence is that tattoo. I
Maybe
don't know.
he's finally fully accepting who he is and what he has to do.
Yeah, fully himself. Like, yeah. Now he's completely the
Uh-huh.
dragon. It's pulsing through his veins.
And in the background, it's you are gold, gold.
Go!
Always believe in your soul. Yeah.
You could
I don't know that song.
spend,
So.
spend
Hey,
a little.
Sure, yeah.
Dan, I didn't remember that song was sung in round.
What's that?
Sung in round. Remember singing around when someone starts and then the other person starts and then the other person starts?
The wheels on the bus
Around.
go round.
The wheels on and then you keep going. Anyway.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Merp, merp, merp.
So no answer to Veins of Gold besides maybe Quaindar?
The tattoo was an answer, Dan.
Oh, and the tattoos. I'm sorry. That wasn't an
Obviously,
answer.
becoming
his tattoo has
dark.
infiltrated his veins, and now he's bleeding gold. Oh, you are welcome.
It was prison ink. It has got into his veins. He is now have lead poisoning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
like scabies.
And
Like scabies.
yeah, oh, very much like scabies. So very contagious.
Let's jump to the epilogue, shall we? Epilogue is an Egwin point of view.
Gross.
It is called Bathed in Light. It has the Wheel of Time itself as the emblem icon. And she's working. She's just going through stupid reports. She's inside the ambulance study. There's no real windows there. She's working by lamplight. And she is going through all Elijah's shit. It was put in a room. Like, we got to go through that later. There's clues. We got some clues in there, but we don't know what they are. So we got to go through that shit later. I'll do it later. It turns out that Sylviana's an awesome keeper. She's way better than that dark friend Sheriam was anyway. And the
she
Reds
also
are all
just
happy.
gets straight back into her little costume. She's like, "Look at my keeper garb I'm wearing
Look-
already. Are
look
you
at it.
impressed? What?
I'm such a
What?
keeper.
Look at me. I'm already dressed the part and everything. What?
Oh, what? Oh, what? Yeah, I got a few of these in the closet. So, yeah. Turns out Ramonda and Lelaine are not happy, and she thinks that they will be trouble her for years yet, it appears. She also finds out that most of the Black Aja in the tower had escaped. I guess word had got out from the rebel camp that she was rounding up the Ajas, and most of them got out. 60 are gone from the White Tower. Combined with the other 20 that left, there's about 80 Black Aja from the list that they had got and wrote down that they are confirmed. They're like, all right, these 80 are gone, including Albion. She's like, God, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get her, Albion. But Varen did a good job. She's like, yep, only three. She only missed 3, and one of them was a sitter. But you know what? She did a great job. Sylviana's like, hey, I think you should see this, Mom. She's like, okay, daughter. They go and they look at Dragon Mount.
Stepdaughter.
Don't call me daughter.
Daughter.
They had, let's see. So it says, after all this time, the clouds had finally broken. They had pulled back in a ring around Dragon Mount. Says, who would have thought that a little ring of sunlight would cause such a stir? Sylviana says, what does it mean? Egwin says, I don't know, but I welcome the sight of it. That opening in the clouds is too even to be natural. Mark this day on the calendar, Sylviana. Something has happened. It's like,
Okay, really quick. Somebody mentioned in chat about veins of gold. I quickly looked in Winter's Heart, chapter 12. There is a reference to veins of gold in there. Let's see. It says the veins of gold. Oh, the veins of gold. You do love me, Rand.
Oh, right. When they bond, when he did
when
the
they bonded.
girls, witnessed his
So
love
maybe
as
this is him realizing the love
love is the answer.
was the answer.
okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Carrie,
That's
you were
amazing.
investigating. You were like Sherlock Holmes right then. That was so
I
great.
know.
Somebody mentioned it in chat. I wouldn't have never caught that, so I just looked it up.
Yeah, Chad was being naughty, but we'll let him go. It did happen technically in the past.
I think it's important. I think that's a great thing.
No, yeah. So
No, well done. Well done.
yeah.
Egwin, it says that light, it felt relaxing to stare out at the distant light, so welcoming and noble. Storms will come soon, it seemed to say, but for now, I am here. I am here. And that's how it ends, besides that prophecy. Now, the prophecy is, this one is from the Essenic cycle.
It's from the Shanshan, right?
Well, we know the Karathian cycle is the one that's normally referred to. So this one is a different.
But this
prophecy.
isn't from the Karathian cycle. This is from the Shanshan.
Correct.
Oh yeah, because I remember, didn't Chuan or somebody mention something similar, like a similar prophecy before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The House of Siandar. Imperial Record House of Shandar. So we don't, I mean, just to be clear, Dan, how do we know that the fourth circle of elevation isn't after Rand?
You know what? You're very right.
There's no guarantee that this is prophecy as opposed to reporting on what happened with Rand right now.
I've never heard prophecy and referred to as something after, but yeah, you're right. This very well could be
I'm more just,
as a result of these actions.
Where does it say it's prophecy? Oh, the prophecies of the dragon. Yes. Okay. Yes. You're right. Fine.
It's like the posthumous prophecies.
It was.
of the
Well,
dragon.
they must be correct then. Who knew?
Yeah,
I wish we had these prophecies. I wish we had that book, how to properly mess with power or whatever. That stupid book.
Yes.
I wish we had all
Same.
this.
I wish that too. I so wish that, especially now. You know, when
Yeah.
you were mentioning like Rand just bending over and vomiting, I was remembering accurately how I felt on our inauguration day this year.
yeah. Honey, can you change your room lights to orange? Just kidding.
Mm.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways.
Carrie,
Okay.
talk to me.
Can we talk about the glossary for a couple minutes?
Yes.
Oh,
Please tell
glossary
me I'm not the only one.
talk.
Please tell me I'm not the only one that reads this.
No,
love
I do.
the glossary.
You are.
I'll just
Well,
give you
you
a
and
high
Derek.
level of little nuggets and stuff that I pulled out of the glossary. There's a lot of book titles listed, especially the books that the girls were reading, like Men and Cat Swain. There's also mention of a lot of the structure related to the heads of the different ajas, and I thought that was
Uh-huh.
interesting. There's also names of the Dark Friends currently being held prisoner in the Royal Palace of Andor. Why the hell was that mentioned? Is that significant?
Damn.
And there was something about delving that struck me. But yeah, I love the glossary because sometimes there's different variations of things in the different books.
Yeah, they iterate them subtly.
Yeah.
I remember realizing that they were different because I didn't really read the glossaries. I would use it to like in the next book. I'd be like, "Oh, who the fuck is this guy again?" And I like look him up, and then be like, "All right, yeah, that's who this character is." But
I
then
miss
also,
Joe.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
it's all good. Sentences don't need to be finished. You just trail
I'm
off ad
sorry.
infinitum.
I'm sorry.
Just kidding.
I miss
No, it's
Joe.
I miss Joe too. He was in chat for one hot second.
I think
Was
I'm constantly baffled by the choices made for the glossary. There's
Yeah.
one H, or no, there's one H, and it's like, oh no, there's a couple H's, but there's one K, and it's this area Shanshan. It's Kin Sadar, and it's an area Shanshan that is populated by less than civilized hill tribes. Like,
Yeah.
like what? Why is this the only K?
Yeah.
Why is this the only K?
So great.
They also have the prophet in here. They have Moraine is in here, and with Moraine's letter
Mm-hmm.
to Tom.
So
That's been in the last couple books, by the way, so it's not anything new.
What about forcing and force? Did you note this, Carrie?
What was it?
It's Rand has been doing unwittingly. When someone with the ability to channel handles as much of the one power as they can over periods of time and channels continually, they learn faster and gain strength more rapidly. This is called forcing or being forced by Aes Sedai. I thought it was
Oh shit! Nice. It's a forcing.
I mean, you guys all know what delving is, where you use the one power to diagnose a physical condition. It says this has been a long lost ability among Aes Sedai. Many account for the name being attached to another ability. But what's that other ability? Like, it's just, I don't know. The glossary just makes me think.
Well, there are two definitions for delving here. The other one says finding
Yeah.
deposits of metal ores with the one power.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
I love
I
the
think
two
it's saying,
definitions for
but
this
that
language.
hasn't been, but no one does that. They're like, that's been gone. But it says that's also referred to as delving.
which we call it in the real world.
That's not confusing at all.
Delving.
Okay, so I have two questions after reading this, because obviously the books always make you think more. Like, okay, where the hell is Galad? Like, what is he up to? Is he like gallivanting around with white cloaks? Like, what happened since we last saw him? And then I really want to know what's
good
in
question.
Baron's letter to Matt.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yes.
we'll learn? Do you think we'll learn the contents of that letter?
I think so. I just don't know when or how. And gosh dang it, Josh, when are we gonna get Moraine? Like, is she coming back in the
know.
next book? Or
So frustrating. So frustrating.
No, I think that's all going to happen when we get Matt back, though. I think, right? Because like Matt is going to go there
He's gonna go
and
rescue her.
try to save Moraine, and so I think that's all going to likely. I think will happen. Probably, hopefully, all together. We'll get like a ton of like Matt chapters with Moraine being saved like very quickly and early on, and we'll just get a bunch of like good
the
shit
other
going
person-
forward. Be positive.
The other person I'm missing a lot is we haven't seen Loyal since there was an
No, I
interview
was
with that
wondering where
man.
Loyal is too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he like on an extended
Loyal's
honeymoon?
writing the
Like, what
book.
is he up to?
Right? Yeah. He's in Hawaii. He's by the beach. Getting whatever color Ogiers get when they go to
So
a sunny place for a while.
More greenish hues.
What does happen to an Ogier?
They just
skin?
he comes back looking like Shrek.
It's just all. Hey.
These are all good.
Anyways-
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I was just gonna jump into my little speech here, if that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for all of you guys that have stuck around for this long live stream, thank you. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody here in chat, as well as Better Dan and Ryan and Josh and Kay. I've seen a lot of growth in myself since I've joined. I've definitely come out of my shell. I mean, I'm still working on it, but I just want to thank you guys for everything. And Josh, you make my brain hurt. I think so much. Sometimes I can't
I'm gonna
even
miss you.
answer the questions that you have.
Oh.
And Kay, you just think of things in a different way, a different perspective that I would never think of. And I'm gonna miss. I mean, obviously, I'm still gonna watch you guys. It's not like I'm gonna be gone forever. But like Butter
You
Dan
better
and
not.
Ryan's laugh, you guys are just so funny.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
Oh.
I love you guys, and this is not the end. But
Of course not.
yeah, my life
No.
has been so crazy, and you know how it is, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's
do,
not
we do.
it's not easy to do a show like this each and every week. It's easy to do it like once in a blue moon or something. Yeah, sure. But to do it each and every week, it really does take a commitment that I was so thrilled and honored that you joined us for as long as you did. I know that it was disruption to your deal there. And while we're just having our deal here, this our late night fun, it does take a toll, and so
Yeah.
I'm just so honored and grateful and stoked, really just stoked that you were with us for this long. I saw the growth in you. This isn't an easy show to jump into. I mean, I think we're open,
Crazy?
but we also are crazy. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
crazy. We are
So
crazy.
while we're loving, we're also like we're kind of you gotta either you get us or
We're
you don't.
unpredictable too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You either you.
I mean, I
we're,
like
yeah.
that
We're not
it's
like a one size fits all. Like
you
you either love us
improv,
or you hate
and
us.
I've learned to improv more since I've been on the show. Like
Totally.
I mean, I'm a planner. Like I'm a Girl Scout. Like I feel like I have to
Right.
plan
Mm-hmm.
things, and to be able to come on the show, all I have is my notes with me that I wrote down when I was reading the chapters, what I've already forgotten from the week prior, because that's what I do. I forget everything I read, even though I write down notes. But
I
it's
hear
just
you. Fine.
just feeling comfortable jumping in when I feel the need to is it's what gets us through everything. So
Well, with on our end, the door is always open. If there is any opportunity for you to join us, this is this isn't goodbye. This is just see you soon. It's
Absolutely.
And,
We love you, Carrie. We love you so
yeah,
much.
I mean, if you
It's
guys
been
ever
such
need a
pleasure.
sub, if somebody can't make it, or if you want to rope me in, maybe like on a special show, if you want to
Yeah,
do
maybe
another
like
wrap up
once-
of the next book or something,
Once
I'm
every
all- it's all
couple,
good.
Definitely.
yeah, once every couple weeks, maybe you could pop in and say hi. There's an update.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we'll-
you don't
we'll-
have to commit to like a full show or anything. Like you could, just of course.
Let's do our own prophesizing before you go, Carrie. And let's talk about so the next book coming up is called Towers of Midnight.
Yeah, that's the version I have. Is that Perrin?
Oh God, no!
What do you anticipate? Let's not talk about Rand. Let's talk about Matt and Perrin. What do you think Matt and Perrin are in these books?
Okay, the original artwork of the cover, which I don't own because I stopped collecting the books when they were coming out, and they were no longer available. I'd have to get them used. Look at the cover of the next book and the original artwork. There's a big spoiler there.
Okay.
Yep, there is actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what's going to happen because of the cover.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Alrighty, I will not look at that.
I don't want to spoil anything. I want you guys to be excited for it.
I'm not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna look
Maybe
at it.
when you do your next show, you'll
thank you for
compare the different covers.
Yeah, really.
No.
I don't think
I
it's
will not look at it
spoilery
if
for
it's gonna
us
spoil
per se because we have an idea.
I hate Matt's outfit. I hate fucking Matt's outfit. He looks
Matt's
like.
outfit looks so dumb. Yeah.
Remember Tops? No, that's like Men in Tights, like era, like medieval shit. That's so bad.
Well, to be
We are
honest,
men.
none of the
Men in
covers
tights.
look like anywhere near what these characters look like in my head,
In
you
your
know?
mind.
And it took a lot to get past those covers initially anyways and even like take the book seriously because some of the beginning ones are
This
really
one is
bad.
definitely specific to
You
what
know?
it's doing.
Okay. Well, that's not even my point. My point is just like some of them are just the artwork is just really dated and very specifically
Yeah.
horrible.
Right, Dad bod,
So,
Perrin all fat. Oh, let's look at this.
I don't
map.
know what Perrin is gonna do. Like Perrin is still wallowing in self-pity over I have my wife back, but I'm still not happy and I don't know what's causing it and
Everything's
why is our
so
marriage
seamless.
still kind of weird and
He's
it's
such
just,
a fucking bummer. God, he's such a
I
bummer.
liked him best when he was searching for his wife. Now that he's got her back, I'm like, okay, you're back. On the
Honestly,
lowest
at least he
ranking.
had purpose then and something to strive for. You know? Yeah, I agree, Carrie. Now what is he gonna do? Jesus.
Oh, you're showing it? Okay.
Okay.
This is
What?
we
That
had.
tells me nothing. This tells me nothing.
Okay,
How
look
is it
at
gonna
what
be?
the guy's
Oh.
doing. He's drawing a shape on the wall.
He's
What
trying
does
the
that
triangle.
mean?
The triangle?
Well, that's
To
what.
start
What's
the
his face?
game
What,
of
big
Oh,
ears.
they get into the tower?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Tower
They
of
get into the
Benji.
tower?
You
You call
Okay,
that a
alright,
fucking
so
multicolor, a patchwork
this is
cloak?
not what it looks like in my fucking head. This is
That's-
nowhere near
That's camo.
what
That's a
any of
camo
this looks
jacket.
like.
I know. Why is everyone's
a
like
second.
coats?
Oh,
You guys
God.
have to
is such
speculate
a
who's
bummer.
that third person with Matt.
Well,
Tom.
Matt, Tom, and what's his face? The homeless
Josh
guy.
knows. The homeless guy?
It's Tom. The guy with the staff?
The storyteller
And
dude.
the hobo.
Jane Farstrider.
AKA
Farstrider.
The Secret of
No.
Him?
Gnome.
What? What are you talking about?
trying to help Josh remember. Yeah, that's yeah.
DK Moon says it's. Oh, it's
Gandalf.
Noel.
Gandalf the
It's not
Blue.
Gnome, it's Noel.
I know. I forgot.
Gnome is the
Hey,
wolf.
apparently he found Maureen's staff from book one.
Speculate why Matt looks like he's 40 in this picture. That's funny.
Why is Matt carrying
Oops,
a
sorry.
bag?
Oops.
That's so weird.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, I got you guys
That's
jumping ahead to the
hilarious.
next book already. It's just, yeah.
So great. All right.
Towers
yeah.
of Midnight is that
He's
a
got the
reference?
dumbest little outfit on. That guy's got a cool blue coat. but that little green thing.
No, I know. That's
so Men in
Matt.
Tights.
That's Matt, honey.
I know. It's so Men in Tights.
Your
I
mom
know
is.
the little green thing.
Is the Towers of Midnight, is that referencing the this Tower of Genji?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they go there
but
at
now I'm not too
midnight.
sure.
They go there at
We have-
midnight.
We
Yep.
have the Black Tower. We have
This
the White
resolved.
Tower. Does that mean anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
It means-
Oh, Towers of Midnight. Okay, yeah, there are 2 towers. You're right.
Ooh.
I like that.
Look who's
Oh, wait,
paying
I didn't
attention.
realize it's plural. Okay, yeah. Towers, not tower.
Yeah, it's not
Towers.
Tower. No, it's Towers of Midnight. Yep.
Everybody's telling me to do Bella.
We getting another Bella request?
Well,
You can see the evolution of my editing. I'm just getting better and better.
Totally.
So
Better and better.
so good.
5 years and that's all I could do. Sorry. Just I can move a hand around on the screen a little bit, and I'm like, "Woo! I'm gonna ride that fucking truck."
That Bella eyeball. Boom,
I'm
boom,
a, yeah, I'm a one-trick pony, baby.
boom, boom.
Oh, so funny. All right, let's wrap this bad boy
All right,
up.
good night,
Hey,
everybody.
Carrie, thanks for
Carrie.
everything.
We'll
Thanks for
miss you. We love you. You're always a part
Yeah,
of
your
the way, I believe.
your family
so.
now.
Family
Yeah,
now.
let me
Get a
know what
tattoo.
you guys are reading next time so I can try to keep up.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you know. In fact, I'll send you texts just saying what chapters we're on, just to kind of keep you in the loop.
Perfect.
I will look right now. I'll tell you what freaking chapters we're doing. I'm looking.
All right,
Just prologue.
we're gonna
When
take.
are we taking
Yeah, we
weeks
need
off?
We'll
to.
do-
Well,
We can do. Yeah, we can do. Do you want to take the week off to get the
Yeah,
books? and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's what we
tradition.
generally
yeah.
do. All right, we'll do prologue through chapter 2. I know
Cool.
you guys are going to text me and ask me later, but prologue through
Yeah.
chapter 2.
All right. This is true. I will be texting you later in the week.
I'm writing it and then scheduling it.
Get the
Dan.
book.
Oh my gosh, right? Look at
And I will text you later.
and I'll say, ask
probably.
Ryan. I'll just reply, ask Ryan.
Yeah.
No, she always does. I'm like, I never know.
I'm always like, what chapters? I don't know. Okay, what chapters?
That's how we talk to each other. We just scream.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Somebody needs clarification. Prologue through chapter 2, they said.
Prologue
Okay.
through chapter 2. End at chapter 3.
Prologue through
How
2.
many pages is that?
I might even remember that this time because we've
It's
said
like
it so many
60,
times.
62.
No, I'm not gonna remember that. I don't even remember anything.
All right, we got a Patreon.
Okay.
We have memberships
the
through
best.
YouTube, and we are going to start hosting game nights for Patreon members and just members of our.
That was fun.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
played one night and that was a lot of fun. The game night thing is a lot of fun. That was fun. I liked it. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yes,
it'll-
any Patreon members or members of the YouTube, if you're like subscribed, you should have access to a channel called Stout to Riverfolk. If you do not have access to that channel on our Discord, please reach out to us because that is where our game nights are going to be held, is in that channel. So reach out to me and you'll get access and then you can play with us.
This is the way.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And as always, we love you. We're proud of you. And run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.
We love you, Carrie!